All right. Good morning. Hey, we're going beyond basic business growth information because let's face it, there's a lot of that on YouTube already, all across YouTube, including some of our past morning show episodes. We are taking you to the next level and we're making it make sense with some shifts in your thinking for your business growth. Okay, so we're going to start with the discussion questions. All right, the discussion questions, which are: can a service sell really well and still be a bad offer for your business? Could getting more clients for your most popular service actually make your business less profitable? What do you think makes a service profitable when there isn't an obvious cost of goods, like those product based businesses have, right? So, those are our discussion questions. It's giving you clues to what we're going to talk about today. But we're going to start with Chantilly because guess what? Last week she promised us she was going to come in studio, and this week she came in studio just like she said. So, Chantilly, what do you think about these questions? You want to answer them one by one, or you want to give us like an all encompassing answer?
I think I'm gonna answer them one by one.
Okay, go ahead.
With the first one, can a service sell really well and still be a bad offer? Yes.
Mhm.
And I think it's because um you can have a service that it might be good for right now, but it's not good for your overall business or your overall brand. It could be
Yes.
trendy, but it might take you to a place that's not in alignment with your purpose or your vision. So
Yes.
Uh, so that's what I think for that. The could getting more clients for your most popular service actually make your business less profitable? Yes. Um, and I think that you can have a popular service that's not priced for profitability. Um, and that's when I know from experience, because when I first started talking to you, I was on Fiverr and I had popular services, but I still wasn't making money.
Mm-hmm.
So the value wasn't right and the pricing wasn't right. So I stayed busy, but I wasn't profiting really.
Mm-hmm. Love
Um
that.
and then the last one, what do you think makes a service profitable when there isn't an obvious cost of goods? And I think that's the value. Because if you push the value, like all a person, especially me speaking from experience, all I need to
Mhm.
know is if I could see it working for me in my life or in my business, and you showed me that through whatever ways that you showed me that, I really don't care what the price is. I'm trying to find out how I can connect with you so I can work with you. So I think it's the value. Those are my answers.
Look at you. Come through, Shantali. She done came in studio and showed out. Show up and show out. All right, cool. Next up, we got Shawana Kennedy Media, who was at Invest Fest in Georgia over the weekend or whenever it was. It was recent, I know that. So she's in studio. You want to answer these questions individually or all in one, Shawana? Which one you want to do?
We kind of like to split that thing up. When
All
I
right.
look at can you sir can a service sell really well but still be a bad offer for your business? Absolutely. And it's pretty much like what Shantali was saying, because a service is selling does not necessarily mean it'll even be profitable. Because really, when you think about back end and all the things that it takes you to go into that service and the offer
Mhm.
itself, it could wind up costing you more time, more money,
Mhm.
more resources. It could actually be keeping you
Yes.
away from the clients who are the ones that really need you and what it is that you do and what you provide. So that's my answer on that
Yes.
one. Also, could getting more clients for your most popular service actually make your business less profitable? Again, yes. If if I'm underpricing my services or it's taking more energy, it is again not worth it. We really do have to in business count up the cost, because we gonna either get hit on that front end or that back end. So for that one, I'm gonna say yes, yes, and yes. And
Okay.
what do you think? make a service profitable when there isn't any obvious cost of goods?
Because you know
Mm.
that's where the product-based businesses get us, right? Like it's clear what they pay for their product, and it's a little more clear that they need to at least charge more than what they paid for the product, right? But
For
for us,
sure, for sure, and for sure. Yeah, for this last one, uh, you have to look beyond the deliverables.
ooh, ooh,
Yeah, we got to look beyond what's actually being delivered. For me, it's that time, that expertise. In some cases, I play tech on TV, but it's the software, it's the production, even how we
mm-hmm.
talk, the management, it's all of that stuff. The overall, the support of the client experience. What is that looking like? When we understand that the truly cost of that delivery, it'll make us just rethink some things. So yeah.
It does. Good job. Good job. Good job. I'd be so proud. All right. Let's go to Dr. Toya Davis. So, Dr. Latoya, first of all, is one of our favorite Leos, and today is her birthday. So, we are truly honored to have her here with us on her birthday. But let me go and tell you how the Leo only made time for us because she's driving. So, we're going to feed her these questions one by one. So, Dr. Toya, the first question: can a service sell really well and still be a bad offer for the business?
Yes. And I think everyone, I know you don't like this, but it's the truth. The reasons have been stated previously.
Yes. I mean, hey, I'm all right with that one. That was a simple one, right? I
Okay.
mean, it wasn't too much variation from that anyway. So I'll accept that. I'll accept that. All right. And plus, it's your birthday. That's my gift to you. Okay. Second question: could getting more clients for your most popular service actually make your business less profitable?
Yes. And I was thinking about this one from originally when you said it, um, like the standpoint of if you're doing one to one. So like
Mm-hmm.
I can get more one to one clients, but now my time is being eaten up and I could use less time because time is also like, a commodity and valuable. I could
Mm-hmm.
make that same amount with less time in a group program.
Yep.
Um, and then still have more time to do other things and make more money. And then just the pricing on it, right? Even with that,
Yeah.
like it's like, okay, how am I pricing these things? So that was my thought around that one.
That was great thought. Great thought. All right. Last question. What do you think makes a service profitable when there isn't an obvious cost of goods?
Yeah, I think this one is a little challenging for me to answer, only because like I heard the other answers and I could say, like, I could just like my conceptually, my brain is like, what? Um, but I think that because yeah, as a service provider, most people are not thinking about the cost of goods that we have
Mm-hmm.
on the back end, those things that they don't see. That's not something that they necessarily factor in. But what also came
Mm-hmm.
up for me with this one is currently in the kind of spiritual development community, there is conversation around based like charging for spirituality. It's like, how are you charging
Mm-hmm.
people to help them? And it's like, because I have paid to learn and study and
Yeah.
like the shortcuts that you get, the lack of trial and error that you don't have to go through, right? The lovely little curated toolbox or toolkit that I get to give you that you didn't have to spend thousands of dollars for to
Mm-hmm.
acquire. So for me, like those are the things that the cost of goods that people don't see that are actual real things. And for me, the business becomes profitable in that way because you just continue to hopefully you get enough people to help you cover the cost of the things that you've already invested in for yourself.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. And another, I'm going to say another layer to that, especially when it comes to us who love our freedom in business, right? Is like Shawana said, how much time do I have left over? Like Dr. Toya said, how much time do I have left over for life? Right. So Chantalie has children that she's over there raising, and so she wants more time with the kids. She doesn't want a business that's gonna have her working all the time, and now she has to take away time from the kids. So sometimes
Mhm.
the profit for a service is not just the cost of stuff; it's the other kind of costs of stuff, right? So it's not always money. It could be cost to quality of life. So I love all of your answers. Okay, so let's get into it, guys, because the basics of we're talking about offers and how to make them I'm going to say more valuable to your business and then more valuable to the people who are purchasing it. So the basics of that is checking your offer clarity and alignment. Excuse me, Chantilly used that word, alignment, right? Are you clear on what this offer is? Are you clear on who it's for? Isn't it aligned with your mission, vision, and values? Okay. All right, cool. That's a basic. Your offer structure. How is the offer put together? What are the pieces of this one offer? Have you broken the service up into phases so that you know what the incremental and milestone transformations are, not just the big transformation? What are the other things that you're putting in this offer? Are you adding bonuses and things like that? Like, what is the offer structure? And then, there's offer ladder. So, what is the ascension of offers and where does this offer fit? All right. So, there's something I want to share with you guys because I know sometimes, even though we are saying that it's basic stuff, you guys may or may not have been exposed to it. So, let's stop at the offer ladder for a moment, okay, and get you caught up just in case. So, offer ladder, we call it a ladder because most often there are at least three offers and they ascend, they go up. So the bottom offer usually costs less and gets a smaller transformation. The middle offer costs a little more than offer one, but it costs less than the top offer at the top of the ladder. And you can get more transformation than the offer at the bottom of the ladder, but less transformation than the offer at the top of the ladder, right? And then your offer at the top of the ladder is usually your most expensive, and it's usually gets the most value. Now, what does that look like? That could look like you go from do it yourself, DIY, to done with others to done for you. All right. So that could be the ascension. Or it could be, hey, this is the very same offer on every part of the ladder, except you get more and more access to me or more and more support for what you're doing. Okay. Or it could look like, okay, offer one is for beginners. Offer two is for people in the middle of the journey, and offer three is for completing the journey. So your offer ladder is an ascension. It's gonna be an ascension of transformation, and it's gonna be an ascension of investment. But how you make it, those things could kind of differ, right? All right. Now that you're caught up on that, let's go back to our our notes so we can get back to the value because we're going beyond these. Again, these are the basics. We're going beyond the basics here. We're going to shift you to what is the next level. So the next level is to go from what are your deliverables to transformation design. And how I explain that offer ladder, you see there's a element of designing that has to be there for you to actually have an ascension. So from deliverables to transformation design. Then we want to go from just having a good offer to having a scalable offer asset. Okay? Scalable offer asset. Last but not least, we want to go from having a marketable offer, one that when we market it, people will buy, to having a demand resilient offer. Okay. I know I'm using words that you like, oh, you put all these little words together. I know what they mean individually, but what do you mean by the way you're combining them? Let's get into it. So the first level is from deliverables to transformation design. What you want to do is stop building around what you do and engineer what has to change. That's the transformation, where they are to where they want to go. So what you want to do is instead of asking, what should I include in this offer? Which is what a lot of us do. We're just putting the pieces in and what can I throw in there like it's a kitchen sink. You want to ask what actually has to happen for the client to move from their current state to the transformed promise state. Okay? What has to happen? Think of it like that. Not what can I put in this offer. You can put a lot of stuff in the offer and those people buy all that stuff and they still don't have a transformation. But if you start with the end in mind, what is the transformation and what do they need to get to it? That is a better way to engineer your offer. So this means you need to look at your offer and all the pieces of it against the transformation. Does this contribute to the result? Okay. If it does, we're going to put it in the offer. If it doesn't, take that thing out. Okay. Is this necessary, or is it simply something the competitors include? Because just because your competitors are included don't mean it's what should be included. Okay. Does the client need this, or does it just make the offer look bigger? Ask yourself that. What requires your expertise? What could be simplified? I know y'all are smart. Everybody else know you're smart, but when you're using, we're gonna say industry jargon, when you're just adding things in there that you know them people can't use at the point that they are, that's not helpful. Okay. So could it be simplified? Where does the client responsibility begin? See, transformation is a partnership, right? I would love for Dr. Toya to talk more about that. She can later. But transformation is a partnership. All of it is not on you. So are you making clear which parts are on them? Okay. Last but not least, what must happen in the sequence of the service for them to get that transformation? All of that is important. And with that, as you can see, the goal is not more deliverables. It is better transformation design. Okay. We want to build around the change that the client needs rather than piling stuff up for them to buy. Cool beans. Let's go to the second level is going from a good offer to a scalable offer asset. Okay. This is where a lot of you just have a whole bunch of stuff that you sell, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. So instead of having these sturdy offers that are scalable as an asset to your business, you just got a whole bunch of stuff that you're selling. So stop recreating the service every time you sell it, and stop selling just these hodgepodge versions of your service. Okay. So a service should become easier and stronger to deliver as you gain experience with it. Okay. It should not be hard to deliver. It should not keep changing just because you feel like something needs to be put in it. So these are the things you need to be looking at to make it a scalable asset. Repeatability. Can the core of this offer and the methodology to service it be repeated? Okay. And can it be repeated easily? You need to evaluate the standardization. What should happen consistently for every client? This is why we want you to break that thing out in phases. Okay. Your service goes through phases. First, you do this. Second, you do this. Third, you do this, all along the way of servicing. Because if you can standardize through phases, then everybody goes through the same framework, the same process, and you're best to get the same results for everybody. Okay. Now, everybody's human, things happen, but you have at least a standard and a structure that is anchoring your service. Okay. Next, you want to evaluate customization boundaries. See, we set a standard. How far out that standard and how far off your process are you going to go for people? Because when you start changing your standards for people, you no longer have standards. Okay, you now are in custom work, and that's never a good thing. So, what actually requires personalization? That's all that needs to be customized, and that needs to be a part of the process. All right, systematize. Oh, look, we're gonna systematize, okay? Because the Alabama was about to come out. Car. So we're gonna systematize. Can workflows, templates, milestones, your communication, your quality standards, all of that should be documented. You should be creating a system. All right. Can you delegate things? I don't know why I got these big words on my notes, knowing they're going to trip me up. But can you delegate? Okay. What actually does not require you to do it? What doesn't require your genius could go off and be delegated to a team member. Okay. Optimize. Does every delivery teach you how to improve the next one? Okay. You should be getting feedback. You should be doing debriefs after you finish with the client. What went right? What went wrong? How do we fix what went wrong? How can we make it better? We should be optimizing based on us working these offers over and over again. Last but not least, expansion. Can the method we use to service this client for this offer eventually support other delivery models and other offers? This is how we make it a scalable asset. All right. So you want to stop saying, can I sell more of this? Because it's not about delivery by itself. It's not about, is it a good offer? And you need to start asking, can this offer become more repeatable, more systematized, and transferable, and the value be valuable every time we sell it? Okay, that's how we have a scalable offer asset. So you see, that's a that's an upgrade, right? That's what we're doing. We're taking to the next level. Now, the third part of this formula, going from just being a marketable offer to a demand resilient offer. Now, I know this is the one I really need to explain, right? You're like, what do you mean by demand resilient? I know what demand means. I know what resilient means, but what do you mean by it when it comes to my offer? Well, you want to make sure people don't just want it today. You want to make sure that the problem that you're solving is worth being solved, and it's a problem that's going to be there kind of for a while, right? It's like one of those things that's it's a classic problem that that particular kind of client is probably always going to have in one way or another. So this is where a lot of people are missing it. A lot of people are going with trends. A lot of people are hopping on bandwagons, and then they wonder why, after a while, they don't really have an offer that people are going to buy. So you can create transformational, beautifully systematized services that market simply because it's popular. Okay, simply because in the time period that you're in, it's the new thing, it's the trendy thing. Okay, but we want it to be durable. We want it to be evergreen as a problem that's going to be out there. So a good service offer doesn't merely just sound appealing, it solves a problem that remains important enough for people to prioritize that problem, invest in that problem, and guess what? Act on the solution that you provide. Okay? So we want to look at the strength of the problem. Is it urgent enough to address? Okay? Is it urgent enough to address? Let me tell you something about how some of you do your market research, which is great. You go out there and you ask people, hey, do you want this? Right? And people will say, yes, yes, I want this. But there's this thing in business called a vitamin and a painkiller. Okay? A vitamin and a painkiller. Vitamins are nice to have. People don't see themselves needing vitamins. So everybody's not buying vitamins, right? But anybody who is in pain, they're going to go get that prescription filled and get that painkiller. They're going to go and get those over the counter painkillers because it's urgent. They need it now and they're going to invest in it. So is what you're doing, the problem that you're solving, urgent enough to address? Okay? Address. Also, is it expensive enough to matter? Right? Has the problem gotten so big that they need to stop it now? Or do they feel like, I'll get to it later? Is it expensive enough to matter? And that's where we talk about it all the time, but that's where the cost of inaction comes in case you're looking for a parallel. Okay. Is it frustrating enough to prioritize? Is that problem frustrating enough where they like, I can't take this no more. Let me go ahead and get this done now. Okay. Is it recurring rather than occasional? Because what we know is life is busy. If something pops up every now and then, do we even really count that as a problem? It may be an annoyance, but it may not be a problem. But things that keep happening and keep putting me in pain, that's a problem. So is it recurring enough? Okay. Next thing you want to say, is that problem becoming more important rather than less important? Right? There are some things that used to be occasional and that was fine. But there are some things, y'all, that even if they're occasional, every time they happen, it's worse each time it happens. And so is it becoming more important rather than less important every time they experience that problem? Last but not least, is that problem connected to something that your client already values? Okay, so if you're not a business that services other businesses, even when you have businesses that service individuals and service them in life matters, right? So we know Dr. Toya does spiritual guidance. We know that she helps you be your best self and have the life that you want, basically through how you're thinking about things and understanding that, everything you need is in you, right? But how does that connect up to what they already value? Some people are just sick and tired of being a people pleaser. They're sick and tired of using the one life they feel like they've gotten for everybody else, and nobody is using their lives for them. So they don't really get a life, right? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Is it connected to something else? A lot of us, I will be 55 years old this year, which I just realized that not long ago. I thought I was going to be 54, but I'm going to be 55 this year, right? So a lot of us Gen Xers are at this, what they call middle of the road stage, midlife stage. And a lot of us are realizing, there's more life behind us than there is coming in front of us. And so that makes it to where we want to have the best life now. And with that being our value, we're looking at things that make it our best life that used to didn't count, right? For example, I don't really like doing domestic work. I spent half my life doing domestic work. I invest in not washing dishes, not cleaning anything, not washing clothes. All right. I invest in those kind of things because guess what? It's connected to my value of living my best life now. How can you do that? How can you take what the problem is and connect it to what they already value? All right. So the huge difference is there is the vitamin, which is, oh, I love help with that, right? But then there is the painkiller where it's, I need to fix this now. Okay. So that's how you need to be thinking about it. But when you evaluate the buyer, you kind of have to ask, does the offer remain relevant as your ideal client becomes more sophisticated? Because, sometimes when we start, we are charging lower prices. And what we find out is when you charge lower prices for something that really should be a higher price, you either your ideal client for that thing don't want to work with you because they think that you don't know what you're doing based on that price, or you get the little thrifty people who want to get more and more and more for less out of you. And so does the offer remain relevant as you come into yourself and get more confident in your deliverables and start charging your worth? Okay. Does that offer, is it still relevant? Those people that you really, really want to attract, does the way your offer stand, is it relevant to them? So you need to be asking yourself when it comes to relevancy, what does the client need before this? What changes after they solve the problem that you're giving them a solution to? Does solving this create another problem? Okay. Does business growth make this problem more important? Does personal growth make this problem more important? Does when they start feeling and living their best life, right? Does this problem become more important? Can the offer evolve as the client needs evolve? All right. So you need to be thinking about that. There are things in the market that change. So you need to be thinking about those changes and how could it make your service more valuable or less valuable. Staying in the realm of service for businesses, we are facing a lot of stuff right now. We're facing AI. We're facing automations. We're facing all kinds of new technology. We're facing this economic client. We're facing industry shifts, right? Whole industries are changing. Great example, Facebook ads. It used to be the person that spent the most on Facebook ad was going to make the most. Like that direct correlation was true every time. And then iOS came out and allowed people to block the tracking from those Facebook ads. The whole marketing industry changed, and that affected money. What else could change? Changing the buyer's expectations. Okay. There are not a lot of people that are in the know of AI, but in my circles, people tend to be in the know of AI. And what I have found is my clients, my fractional COO clients, they expect their team members to be more efficient through the use of AI. So you know what they're doing? The service that team member gives. Maybe it's an admin service, right? Maybe they're in charge of a calendar. They're in charge of getting that person ready for presentations and things like that. Well, my clients are now looking at their team members and those timesheets where it said you spent 4 hours on something. And in their mind, they're like, why didn't you use AI to cut that time down? So these things affect your offer. Are you using the right technology? Why is it taking so long? Like, are you up to date on what you're doing? So we have to look at all of these changes to the market because it can make our service less valuable. Okay, so if technology can increasingly perform the activity, the value of this offer has to move upward towards your expertise, your strategy, your ability to communicate and interpret what's going on, the way you can take AI and make it better because you are the actual expert and you can make decisions from the outcome based on who your client really is versus what AI is saying they are, right? We need to do that. So you protect the transformation, and we just make sure that this thing is evergreen. What we're doing is just not something that's trendy. It's something that is not only needed, but it's resilient to a lot of the changes, and it is still there. It is still valuable. All right, cool beans. So I want to tell you some things that you need to look for when you're evaluating the demand for your offer. Demand for your offer. Is it as valuable as you think it is? So these are the things you look for. Look for actual behaviors. How many inquiries are you getting about it? Right? How many applications? If your service has to be applied for, how many applications are you getting? How many sales conversations are you having? Okay. How many actual purchases of the offer? How many people are referring your offer? How many repeat purchases are you getting? So maybe not necessarily for the same offer, but a purchase going up your offer ladder. Okay. How many requests for related help are you getting? Um, are the prospects, when you're having these sales conversations, are they describing the problem that you actually solve? This is how you understand more about your offer, and is it truly past marketable, but is it a demand that's going to be there for a while? If you are selling something and nobody's asking about it, nobody's buying it, when they come to you for a discovery call, they don't even acknowledge what that offer is, and they're not even saying that that's the offer that they need. Is nobody saying they need help with stuff related to your offer? This is how you know that offer may not be a good thing. It may not be scalable. It may not be in demand, and it's darn sure probably is not going to be evergreen. Okay, so stop asking, can I market and sell this? And start asking, is this solving a problem that will continue to be prioritized and people will invest in it? All right. So I want my in studio people. I think. Oh, I heard somebody leave, but I guess she came back. Okay. So I want in studio and on YouTube. I want you to start thinking about the answers to the questions. Which one of these things that we talked about today are you already using? Which one do you know you need to start doing? And do you have an obstacle to going ahead and infusing that thing into your business? Because we know when we start infusing these game changing things, baby, that things change in the business. So think about that while I go back through what our new formula is. Now, our old formula, let me tell you the old formula again, all right? Because we don't want you just thinking that anymore. That was basic, okay? So basic was thinking offer clarity and alignment, your offer structure, which is how that offer is put together, and your basic offer ladder, the ascension of offers. That's basic now, okay? So your next level formula is from deliverables to transformation design. So does the offer create the right result, the thing that you're promising? We want to go from having a good offer to having a scalable offer asset. So can the business repeatedly deliver and strengthen without continually reinventing that thing? Okay. You should get to a point where that thing is kind of settled and not a lot of changes are happening to the offer. Okay. Last but not least, we go from marketable offer to demand resilient offer. Hopefully by now you know exactly what I mean by that. So we're asking, does it solve a significantly important problem that the right buyer, not just any buyer, the right buyer will continue to prioritize and invest in over a long period of time? All right. So we're going to start with Chantilly. Chantilly, do you use any of these strategies from the next level formula? Which one do you know you need to start using? And is there an obstacle to you start using it?
Okay. I was trying
Okay.
to reflect, but what I think I
You might have
know
to process out loud. Process out loud.
right. I know I'm using a lot of them. There's no I believe that I'll need to dig deeper into what the transformation will actually look like for my
Mm-hmm.
clients.
Okay.
For a larger amount and go deeper on that. But I don't think there will be any obstacles to
Okay.
it.
I love
Yeah.
that for you. I love that for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you, let me ask you this. When you think about evaluating your offer and making sure that it is an offer that will be around and be valued for a while, which one of your offers
Mm-hmm.
come to mind?
Um,
I put you on the
so
spot, didn't I? You're like, wait,
I
wait, wait.
have one. I have only one that I'm focusing on
Okay.
right now, and that's how to make money with your spiritual gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that has longevity.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
love that. So I think I feel like to make sure
Uh-huh.
that people understand it, right, and that it's not a vitamin, it's more of a
Mm,
painkiller, is
uh-huh.
that you tap into the economy and the way that it is, and the fact that people need extra money, and you start
Mm-hmm.
messaging that what you need, you probably already have, and this is the way to monetize it,
Okay.
right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
because that could be looked at as how to make money from your hobby. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's not what you're talking about at all.
No,
So I
no.
would definitely be giving examples of what spiritual gifts could be monetized. I would definitely be pressing down on not just the economy being that you need more money to survive, but also you possibly need more money to thrive. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would be tapping into that, and that to me is what's going to take it from vitamin to painkiller.
Okay.
Cool beans.
Okay.
Let's
That
go
makes
to
sense.
Shawana Kennedy, Kennedy Media. Are you already using any of these strategies? Which strategy do you know you need to employ as soon as possible? And do you have any obstacle to doing that?
No, I don't have any obstacles. We've already been working towards shifting some of the language um, towards transformation versus the deliverables. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's one thing that we're working very hard over here to do.
Yes.
I do like how you said again in the transformation being the painkiller versus the vitamin. So of course
Mm-hmm.
my brain immediately go into ways that I could utilize that even when I think about short clips and short videos
Mm-hmm.
because I be trying to keep the stuff that you say is top of mind
Yeah.
and get it done and use it right away. And that's the thing that people, if you're listening or watching on the replay, we have to see who is it that we're listening to that is helping feed what we do. And if there are some things that we can even take immediate action on when you're listening and having conversations with other great people and brilliant minds because that could be a part of or that little secret sprinkle in whatever it is that we're doing to say that's the thing that could make that one little switch. What is it? Who was it?
Exactly.
Emerald. He used to put like that pinch of salt and be like bam. That could be the
Yes.
the one little extra ingredient that really moved the needle for a lot of people. So again, great conversation.
I love that. I love that. And just so you guys know, again, that vitamin versus painkiller, that is not my verbiage. In fact, it is very popular phrase in the mindset shifting in business coaching. And I first heard it from my mentor, Lamar Tyler of Traffic, Sales, and Profit, TSP. And shout out to Shawana who interviewed him at Invest Fest. So y'all need to go to Shawana's channel and check that out. Look at the Kennedy Media YouTube channel and find that interview. It was great. She asked great questions and he answered great as always. So let's go to Dr. Toya. Dr. Toya, which one of these strategies? Oh, she said it's at Shawana Kennedy TV. Y'all go find it on YouTube. And Dr. Toya, are you already using any of these strategies? If so, tell me about it. Is there a strategy you need to start using? And if so, do you have any obstacles to using?
Yeah, I think similar to Shawana, just been mindful of making sure to use the transformation and the messaging and the talking. So I think
Mhm.
I am doing that. Of course, could always be better. Finding ways to actually communicate the actual transformation that people are using, the language that people are using to communicate. Honing in on that one is the challenge. But of the ones we talked about today, what I need to implement, And I don't remember now if it was in the second one or the third one, or it's probably a combination of those two. Um, so I realized that I didn't have, after they went through the offers that I had, right? It was like, okay,
Mhm.
now what? How do I keep them into the system? So I created what I thought was the next best step. But when you go back and you look at the evaluation, right? So are people asking for it? What was the, what was the buy-in to it? Like something in that says that something in this either isn't the right next step, right? Or the languaging is off, the positioning is off, like something in this thing is off. So
Yeah.
figuring out what is the actual best next step to keep people kind of in the community and engaged, that is still of service to them. That's the part that I am working through to figure out best that still feels
Mhm.
aligned for me.
I love that. And you know what else I love? I love that you actually have those conversations with them. What I don't love is you don't always remember to go back to the feedback and apply it. But I love that you have everything you need right there in your community. We just got to remember that, hey, when I'm wondering something, I can go to them and ask because they're going to tell me, right? And then I have something to apply. So, unlike a lot of people are just kind of pulling stuff out their butt. They're pulling stuff from the air. They're trying to reverse engineer what they see, and they're not an engineer in the first place. Like you got this stuff right there. You are consistent enough with your content that you can get feedback from people who have not bought yet on how to get them to buy, and you have nice people who are in the actual buying community with your programs to ask them to. So I would say definitely use the value that you have at your fingertips because you got it, you got it, you got it.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. And I just finished the 1 year, the program that I'm now trying to revamp. And
Mm-hmm.
two of them were like, "Oh, we're stopping." I was like, "Yeah, we're stopping. I have to figure out like how to make it sustainable." But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think to ask any of them, like, the things
Yeah.
that you're saying.
Yeah.
What
Go back
made
to
them
ask.
actually say, "Yes, this is it for me," or what we could have improved. So I will do that.
Well, I will tell you the natural next step is usually I took you through a process to shift you so that you think differently and therefore your actions are different to get you the transformation. The natural next step to that is usually I can walk along with you as you're, deploying what I taught you. So there's an advisory level there that maybe you could tap into. And that advisory level may not be as high of a investment because you're actually maintaining them rather than transforming them. You would be reminding them. Um, so you could look at it being something like that.
Yeah.
Because what we understand is when we're in the education phase, we need the education and we need to understand. But when we're actually in the execution phase, we need to be reminded. We need infusions of confidence. We need somebody that make us feel supported and strengthened. Is kind of
Yeah.
what that natural next step is.
That
So,
is what they need. And how you just said it clicked in my brain because I thought I was doing that, but what you just said actually made me realize the gap. So, yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, and to me, Dr. Toya, it's no different than when I decided to come back to YouTube and stop doing the morning show. And I was thinking, like, what is next? It came to me, what do y'all need next? Like, we've talked about all of these things for 3 years, which is why when I ask the questions, y'all are always right on point, right? But I can't keep teaching you those same things over and over again. Now it's time to go to the next level because I taught y'all that stuff. I reminded you about this stuff. We transformed your businesses using that stuff. What is the next level? And then we still incorporate the people who are listening to us who, hey, y'all on the next level, but I'm still on the basic stuff. What was that again? We give them a little something too. So I think that that is kind of where you are, which is amazing. All right, y'all. I want to share something, and y'all can get it. Look, you can get it if you email me. All right, but I have a custom GPT. Sales conversions start with a clear and compelling offer. You can get clarity of your offer. We can optimize the offer features, which is that structure, and then we can optimize your pricing. going to your profitability, and then we can make it more compelling, which is going to your marketing. So if you know you need this custom GPT to make your offer more optimized, you need to email me info@shaycannon.com and say optimize my offer, and I will send you the link to this custom GPT. All right. So if you want it, email me. Okay. There is not even a fill out this form. Just email me info@shaycannon.com and say optimize my offer. Okay. This has been the Make It Make Sense Live, which is an interactive business discussion as part of our free First Six Figures Business Mastermind community right here on YouTube, where I position Black and brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by teaching you how to make the money to fund your lifestyle of freedom by shifting you from basic strategies to next level formulas. All right. All right. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to see you next week. But before then, I want you to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss anything. I want to make sure that you like this episode. You know we gave you great value. And with that, we will see you on next week, where we're going to take you to the next level yet again. All right. In studio, Chantilly. You might not know this, but